shit. Greeting you in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. Welcome to the MoonasMagica podcast, EP.2. Here we are with the brother. Introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, what kind of medicine you provide to our planet Earth, and take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Steven. Hi, hello. Yali, ¿qué onda? What's up to my raza? What's up? If you here with us, where the hell you at, fam? Yes, sir. Okay, so yeah, my name's Lobo. My the name that my family presented to me is Lorenzo, but I prefer my self name, my real name. But yeah, so my story is really one of just, I feel like we can all say this, relearning, rediscovering. That word's used a lot. It's just a lot of a lot of working with the orgone and tensors is a lot of shadow work. It's a lot of breaking down barriers and mental blockages. That's a real quick description on like how this stuff has affected me. So yeah, I'm 30 years on this earth. I've been working with the tech for the last, well, ever since since lockdown, since like right before lockdown is when I really started diving into the scalar tech, into the tensors, into the orgone, and into the pulsed electromagnetic field devices. I just got lucky. I got lucky. I'm not sure. I don't even remember how I came across this stuff on the internet. I know I was mostly focused on growing my business and, you know, finding things to help my business out, which is just so like, it was like a movie. There was so many things happening at one time that I was integrating my business and integrating learning about, you know, the tech and its applications. Really, it's actually, I have a really funny story. I have a super funny story. I was buying tech. I was buying rings off of you, and I was buying stuff off of Golden for like a year, you know, just dabbling. And I was waiting to have an experience, a quote unquote an experience, you know, feeling the tech, actually getting its vibration, you know. So it took me about a year, even though I was meditating and pondering on this stuff every day. I was still highly mineralized in my body. But I can just say from experience that if you have any sort of doubt on this stuff, just give it some time, because your body needs to reactivate. Your body needs to go back to normal before you can even start resonating or feeling the little subtle vibration of the tools. See, I'm in this year limbo that I was at, you know, discovering the tools. I still had a lot of skepticism, or not skepticism. I had mental blockages because I'm like, you know, the right and left battle of the brain saying like, you know, where is the magic and where is the actual, you know, where is the science and the magic, you know. So it took me about a year to really take it all in, and to give my brain space and time to actually, I had to be patient with myself to actually, you know, start feeling the resonance of the tools. I wasn't actively gifting. I wasn't actively cloud busting, I guess we can say, to where I was actually studying, observing my surroundings and what devices go where and what effects would happen, right? So like that's where I came from. I came from like a year of like really giving myself time to feel the energy, the subtle energies of the tools, right? So thank you. I know you were one of the first ones I came across, and also I think yeah, it was Brother Gaia and you. Pretty much is all I really knew back then. And as soon as I started having the experiences that I wanted, or everyone needs some sort of level of the validation with the tech. Is it working? Are these guys just crazy and selling me stuff? And yeah, it has crystals and metals, right? Like I was I was there, as I'm sure a lot of people are, because even though there's still a lot of people who already just like they understand it and they're like, I wasn't one of those people. So I'm with experience, I can gladly say and proudly say that, yeah, that these tools bring us so much, I'm not gonna say power, but bring back some of our sovereignty as far as the things that we as human beings deserve to have. We deserve to have the right to have healthy bodies, to not be constantly blasted with negative things, right? We're going against a super industrial $1 billion
Mm-hmm.
well-oiled military machine, right? They have all the money, they have all the tools, they have all the research, but we have to still line up in real life. We still have to show up in real life, right? So going and learning about the tools, it brought back actually a lot of the warrior spirit in me, because there are so many levels at play, so many layers of negativity that we're just constantly blasted with, that they try so hard to make us unhealthy, they try so hard to keep us down and depressed, they try so hard to keep us in our cycles and our family bloodline generational trauma cycles, right? They try so hard to do all that, really. But once I really understood how the fields of the tensor work and the harmonizers, and really just sitting with them, and as I was sitting and my body's recalibrating and feeding off all the frequencies around me that I have accumulated either through purchasing, or now that I have some time, I've been creating already for some time. And honestly, it wasn't until I started creating that I really started to feel the vibe, like these things are freaking vibrating
Mm.
all the time, literally at all times. And just actually going onto your content and to your good brother's content, what's his name? Bites. I would watch a lot of you guys, because you guys have such good grace with the words and vocabulary that I'm not able to explain that way. I'm more of a more practical, like down to earth, like this is what it does, right? And you Stephen, and your brother out in Costa Rica, you guys do a really good job of bringing the magic all together.
Mm.
Um, as far as what the rings can do, what the orgone does on very, very real practical levels, as also in the other realms of the spiritual realms, the emotional realms. And I like watching you guys, because I still have to. People still ask me questions, right? And this is the way that I better arm myself, so I can pass it forward. Learning that grace through you guys, and all the innovations, all the nice innovations on the tensor design.
Mm.
That's what we're here for. Pushing the just keep pushing. Like we cannot have enough right now. We're hit on so many levels that our souls, our vessels, they really need all the help that we can get right now. There's spiritual wickedness in high places. Spiritual wickedness in high places. And these are spiritual weapons for the highest good. That's the way I like to explain it. That's the way that I like to tell people, because they at least can help your body, in a way that it just detoxes and on, let's say, and one example, it'll detox the electrosmog that you accumulate all throughout your day. Like, let's say you don't, you're a normie, you have a job, right? You still in the matrix. We're all still in the matrix. You still have to go about your day and talk to people, come across a whole bunch of different energies. We're around a lot of click, 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 a lot of high pitched noises and lights, and and that stuff. Now that I'm 30 years old, I can really start to pinpoint how these things are affecting me. It's so weird. I'm 30, but I still feel like a child again, which is amazing because I'm sensitive.
Mm.
I can actually, I'm not numb anymore. Like I can see and feel the cause and effects. And I'm not gonna say that it's all thanks to Tensor and Orgone, but that comes along with the journey. But I'm saying it does help your body as far, if you don't understand all the nice spiritual words around it, all those terms, all the nice graceful words, that how you can explain it, just know that on this kind of physical level, this is what it's doing. It's recalibrating your body's frequency, detoxing your aura, because we're accumulating so much. One thing I realized is that I am so easily influenced. We are so easily influenced and we don't even know it. So easily influenced and we don't even know it. So that's one thing that I can definitely say. The tech has helped me definitely where I'm able to separate my energy from others that are not, just in alignment. Help me detox that easier. It helps my body. As soon as I put one of these rings on me, especially on my head, I get the same sensation as if my body, not just like I mean, feeling and sensations are the same, right? But I get the same sensations as if I was grounding. If I had my feet in the grass.
Mm.
Um, and it just takes. I feel like for a lot of people, it's instant, but for also a lot of other people, it takes some time to really integrate and feel the fields, if we
Mm.
can say that. So my story starts off where, like, okay, I was watching you guys on Instagram, and then I'm from South Texas. I forgot to mention that. I'm born and raised in Brownsville, Texas. My parents are migrants. They were migrants, so I'm first generational born. My mom crossed here when she was about 14. Um, so that's where I'm coming from, right? So there's not on the border. There is like on the border of Texas. There's like there is no crystal shops. There is no community spaces like how the spaces that you frequent. There's really none of that here. It's nothing but tacos and bars, to be honest.
Wow.
So so while I'm discovering this and I'm noticing there's none of this around me, I'm like, man, I need to learn. I need to learn, um, because if you got, I mean, for the people who are going to watch this, if you don't know where Brownsville, Texas is, and you're familiar, I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with Elon Musk. Well,
Mm.
that's Brownsville, Texas is where he decided to set up his SpaceX or whatever. And I grew up on that beach. I went to that beach every weekend. Um, that beach is very sacred land. It's to the tribe Gome Carizo something tribe. If excuse me, I might be butchering. I'm not descendants of them, but I'm grateful to have grown up there. So that's just to give you an idea of where I come from, what's
Mm.
happening where I live, right? So I'm seeing these problems, I'm seeing things in my environment changing, and I wanted to do something about it. And the universe gave me, when I started thinking and pondering on these things and wanting solutions, the universe gave me a good friend. I got so lucky that this friend lived only an hour away from me. and he was willing to drive to me anytime that I wanted to learn. So shout out to my homie Moon Juice. Love you, Aaron. It's because of you we're able to we're doing what we're doing right now. Shout out to him, dude. He would come over and he taught me the rings. I'm the type of person that, you know, I've had to do a lot of things. We all have to do a lot of things on our own, and I'm the oldest of six, so a lot of my family, my elders have already, have crossed over. So I don't have elders. I don't have a special lineage. I don't have, a lot of I don't have what a lot of people would call permission, right? Permission.
Mm.
I feel that I didn't need any permission. I feel that I didn't need any initiation. The fact that I was born into the area that I'm at, and that I had these thoughts occurring to me, while also the universe and reality is giving me the tools to figure some of these, to go through with some of these solutions, right? Because I feel if I didn't have those thoughts of like, okay, of the tensor and the orgone and gifting to the towers, gifting out there in SpaceX, I feel if I didn't have that in my mind, I would have never met my good friend, and I would have never learned rings. I would have never learned harmonizer. I would have never learned all the great things all these great tools that give us some of our sovereignty back, at least, or they give us at least a lot of knowledge. If you can understand the concepts of them, I feel like it gives us a lot more knowledge on like what could be beyond
Mm-hmm.
like, imagine when we don't need, like, imagine if we didn't need tensors and orgone, like what other tools could we possibly be coming, like what other solutions could we also be integrating, right? That's just one way that I thought of it. So I'm grateful for my homie, just, and thankful for creator for putting this man, this good friend in my path to really teach me the ways that I feel tensor should be done.
Mm.
I don't really I sell here and there, but my main priority was gifting, just because when this special friend came across my life, him and his gang, they've already been doing gifting an hour away from me. Like, they've been doing it for 7 years, so they already have thousands of orgone devices all over, their respected area, and that was only an hour away from me. And I'm like, wow, these people are, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting, they're taking action, and that's something that I very much respected. Like, I didn't even know what gifting was. I didn't know. So they taught me that. So when they took me on some gifting sessions, we went like at least 3 or 4 of them in my area. Like, after they were teaching me, we scheduled a gifting session for my area, because, well, it's never been done.
Mm.
And we gifted the hell out of Brownsville.
I saw those videos, like you and brother Moon Juice, Aaron. I
Yeah,
saw that era. Like that was what, last year a little bit. I saw you
yeah,
started
that
to
was last
make the organite, and
year.
yeah, you were going in, and that yeah, that like that energy that comes with creating organite, and then for the purpose of gifting, it's such a yeah, it's such a
So
interesting aspect of this, like that warrior that warrior spirit. But yeah, I saw you going in, and yeah, you shared so much there. There's so much I do want to reflect on.
okay.
Yeah, like, so this warrior spirit, and I see that you have that, and you are that, and ever since I've known you, you've given me those those vibrations, because I see that drive that you have. Like I have that same drive where I center my life around making tensor tech. I I literally like it's what keeps me here. It like it's what grounds me. It's what reminds me to be of service. It it keeps me in this magical consciousness, and I really don't know what I would do without it, because for the past 2 years, it's, as you've seen, it's been all day every day, and I've dove in because I've had to. And it's this um offering to creator is like, let me be of service, because years ago I realized that I don't want to be on this earth if it's not to serve the positive polarity, and to serve the upliftment and the evolution of consciousness in the positive direction. And that's what MoonasMagica has become. It's become yet another channel and a medium for the message of unity to come through. And that's why this podcast is even going. And this won't be the only episode that you're on, brother, because I really want to get this out and continue to have this conversation and bring awareness to this technology, which I've been sharing and I feel in my heart is the beginning of free energy. Where, and what that means to me is the beginning of new earth, because any earth-like planet that has a unified consciousness will indeed be utilizing free energy, because that's just how it is in the universe. The pyramids, like that was here before, and we have gotten so disconnected from our source, from our heart as a planetary population, that we've become so sick, where actually sickness has become normality. That's how fucking sick it's gotten. When I woke up in this life, I came through addiction. And when the third eye opened in this life, I literally gasped for air in the feeling of, what the fuck has gone on here? Like, what is actually happening on Earth? As it's so twisted. It's where it's become normal to be an atheist. It's become normal to not have a connection with the heart. And that's why I didn't want to be here. And I had a little bit of sort of a breakdown, and I was having anxiety attacks on a daily basis, where as my being was healing from a few years of like deep addiction to alcohol and cocaine, like I went into the dark. I went into what this I addicted to pornography and all of the really the very distorted behaviors, because I didn't know better. Nobody in my life ever told me that I am one with creator. My mom and dad had morals. They had be polite, these very like integrity in their way of understanding integrity. But I was never told about the heart. I was never told about the real Christ. I never heard the word consciousness, before really, until I hit a bottom, right? And then I had no choice but to surrender my separate will, to at least have the willingness to say, hey, there's a higher power, and through that, very quickly, by the grace of who creator is, the all-loving creator, is right away, the second you have that willingness, everything will be given to you. And then through that, like going to school, and then finding this technology and realizing that, in a sense, this was the reason I went to holistic school, was to be gifted this technology. And then obviously brother Gaia, who we're going to have on the podcast soon, he was kind of the gateway for a lot of us, and he inspired me in this way that it lit a divine fire in me, where like I literally all day every day just spent that, like, creating the tech. But as I was creating it, learning and listening to Slim interviews and Twisted Sage, and watching Brother Gaia's reels on his Instagram like so many times, and like that that drive, like I can't you can't you can't make it up. And I see that you have that same drive, which is why, you know, here we are as brothers, really you know, on the same mission. So I want to talk to you about the mission, and like why do you think it is that that your being is called to making this technology? Like, because it's in a realm that's beyond I would say the dualistic realm of like the linearity. Like there's something magical that is, you can't explain it. It's something where like you give somebody a ring and then they'll start to see synchronicity, or they're already experiencing synchronicity. And this copper ring, like it creates, how I describe it is, it creates this field of divine light, of non-dual light energy, which is what we also call scalar waves, or what Tesla called longitudinal waves, or the Russian scientists called Meissner fields, or tachyon energy, or the ancients, you know, called it the chi, or the prana, or the kundalini, or the shakti. All these different names for this this energy, and you know, right, calling it the orgone, like all these different places around this world. And in fact, I would say in the universe there's probably an infinite amount of names that we give this energy. But yeah, just uh like how important is it to you uh to steward this technology, and to steward the sacred heart, and to be a true being that is surrendered to the love and light of creation? And so what is this mission, like how important is this in these times? And how does that relate to stewarding, and you know, creating a copper ring that there's a magic to it that we can't explain, really?
That's a beautiful question. Probably I get real into it with this one. So the reason I feel I'm being called is, well, like I mentioned before, when I stumbled across Brother Gaia and yourself, it was like, and I have a very similar story to you, Stephen. I was woken up through addiction
Mm,
after years of abuse of the body. You know, I've been to places where you really shouldn't be, right?
mm,
Jail, rehab,
mm,
disowned, you know, been through it all, right? Same here. And it wasn't until, you know, rock bottom that I was also introduced to consciousness. And it wasn't, this is going to sound very harsh. This is going to sound really harsh, but this is what happened to me, okay? And this is how this is how I made my decision. So I was very addicted to pills. You know, it led me down a very bad, like I mentioned. And it wasn't until this one time that, I mean, I was getting arrested a lot. This one time that I came back from jail, and right, I'm sitting with my dad, and he's giving me the lecture, right. I feel like this that time was probably like what broke his what really broke his heart, maybe.
mm,
So I'm the oldest of six. Um, we're all boys. The youngest is my sister. She's the only girl. So my youngest brother, he passed away when he was about. I was in middle school, so he was like not even 5 years old.
mm.
So he passed away from cancer.
Oh.
And so my family had still a lot of, you know, trauma and heartache with that, right? So, you know, I'm the oldest. I'm the golden boy. I'm good in school. I've never behaved bad ever in my life. I've, you know, good at pretty much anything that I want to do. You know, I'm the firstborn child, like the golden boy, right? So this is how my dad saw me, right? And after going through addiction and, you know, going to prison and or jail or whatever, he said these words to me, and these words is what really broke my heart as well, and made me really decide what I was going to do from then on. So knowing that we already have, you know, loss in our family, he tells me this. He's like, son, you can die in jail or you can die on the street, and we will mourn, we will be sad, and we'll love you, but life moves on. Life moves on. What are you gonna leave behind?
Mm.
And this is what, I mean, we all know this on some level, but it's not until that you're there that that it really hits you that what kind of legacy you want to leave behind, what do you want to pass on to your family or your peers, to your peers on earth, not just your friend group, right? Um, Everyone on earth, we're not all we're all responsible to one another on to some extent. That's what I feel. So after that experience of just that heartbreak, right, I still had a lot of growing to do, but that in itself is like, what am I going to leave behind? What am I doing for my people? That's really something that always resonated with me, especially being firstborn, you know, super Mexican. Like, I have hardcore indigenous lineage and roots. So like, it wasn't until that I started learning, you know, relearning and rediscovering about where I come from, the strong bloodline that I've come from. It wasn't until then that I'm like, okay, what am I, you know, my ancestors, all of our ancestors, they gave their lives for the land. They gave everything to make sure that the land was cared for, literally. Like, I can't even put it that way. Our people died for the land. That's just, that's probably where I'm at. On a super, just not on a martyr level, just I'm ready. I'm like, I'm at that level, you know. I'm like, you decided, right? You want to be a steward for the positive, right? So this is just another perspective, another aspect of that.
Mm.
The way I thought, it was like, I need to maybe not wake up people, but in the sense, you know, when you start educating about this, you really are waking up and people, as quote unquote, right? You're informing them of what's really going on, right? How are we being attacked on all these different levels, and how these simple tools can give you some of your sovereignty, some of your power back, without taking away from anything else,
Mm-hmm.
without taking away from anything else or anyone else, right? So that's, I'm just in a more of like, this is probably like one of the most important battles like going on right now. Granted, there's a lot of bad things, and there's a lot of good things going on at the same time right now in our age,
Mm.
in our realm right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I, right? I need to be on the right side. You know, I want to be on the good side, on the side of love.
Yes.
That's how I saw things,
Mm.
in a very warrior-esque manner. I got so upset. You know, I got really like, when you find out that how we're being poisoned and just shitted on every single angle, like, you really, one or two things gonna happen, right? Or both, maybe not simultaneously. One, you're gonna lose a lot of hope.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be
Yep.
like, what, what the hell can I do? I work a freaking minimum wage job. You're
Yeah.
barely paying food and rent, and now I need to buy. Now I need to get this stuff to freaking, just to be normal, just to not worry about, you know, some of those. negative things, and we'll get into, we all know what they are already, but you know,
Yeah,
we can get into that later.
let's get into that. I'm gonna pause this recording and we're gonna do a part 2 because we're just getting into some things, and the Zoom that I haven't upgraded it to Pro, so it's only got a 40-minute span, but this is gonna get me to get the Pro because we just starting out here on the MoonasMagica podcast, but hope y'all are enjoying this. Peace. We're gonna hop back in for part 2.
Okay, okay.
Love.
You're just gonna send me the invite again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love.